Okay, has everyone been reading George Green and the handbook for the new paradigm and embracing the rainbow and becoming, those three little handbooks that the ETs channeled through him? If not, please turn your attention to those, because they're a very critical part of what we're moving into and have been all the time and didn't realize it. But those are direct channeled little handbooks that the information in them is so clear and so precise that I find no fault with them. And I realize that the information's been coming through and coming into my head for the last 30 years or 40, longer than that. And it is the information basically is allowing us to move ahead and become who we really are. So I'd like to encourage you to get that basic information downloaded, because it's already there. It'll just remind you of who you really are. I'm going all the way back to source and everything.
What will really help everyone is I've only listened to that first hour of the 6 that you suggested, Frank.
Mm-hmm.
And listening to it, that's what my night school was all about after my accident. And I would always be going to night school. And I never know exactly what I was learning, but I knew I was learning something. And I started listening and go, this is it. This is exactly it. I go, wow, a refresher course. How delightful.
The interesting aspect of it is that it's hard to listen to because it's so much information and it's just straight line. And George just reads it out of his little manuals if you're listening to the auditory program. And if you just take time to stop, use your pause button and stop and listen to it, download it into your system and internally listen to it and relate to it, then go back, then it makes it quite easy to ingest.
I'm finding reading it easier for me. And I also found that you can order it on the Kindle, which you can see it better, because the book print is so teeny tiny, for my eyes anyways. But reading it, I'm able to take it in better.
Yeah, the more you read, the easier it gets to follow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just call up George Green, and if you can download it directly, or you listen to him in that one of 6 or 6 presentations that he has.
Rachel, is that you typing?
Oh, could you hear me? So sorry. I wrote the name of the books for Rich.
And Arthur's George Green. He's been around for a long time, and his story is interesting too. He has a lot of other pages up there that you can listen to find out his story, how he came into this and understanding. And the 3 little handbooks are the basic information, though, and that the rest of it is just his own experience of how he's battling the opposition forces and what they've done to him and everything.
I was listening to some of that last night. Some of it's kind of frightening.
Well, it is, and yet it's nothing different than what a lot of others have prophesied over the centuries of awareness. And it's our human choice. Do we create a positive reality? Do we move into dominion and in a new paradigm? And like I said all along, it's up to us. It's our responsibility to create this. But he lays it out in such a neat way that it isn't about creating a big war or a wave against the opposition force. It's just the internal shift of 2 or 3 people at a time coming into awareness, and them making right choices is how the shift will occur. And that's the importance of what we're going to be doing as we move on into our work with Soul Spirit Radio, is just inspiring people to make their own internal shift. That's what it's all about. And
whenever you're out in public and you see something that brings joy to your heart, and somebody, meaning that somebody's doing or saying or wearing clothes or something, go up and tell them that. Because that joy that you're feeling, that happiness, contentedness that you're seeing, because they're doing something, if you go and share that knowledge with them, it's going to light that part of their heart up to where they're going to shift and look at things differently and see the good within themselves that they didn't realize. Very important.
Another vital importance is the return of the goddess energy, and how we all have it within us, including the males, with the balance of polarity coming into the 4th law of the universe, which is spelled out very neatly in the handbooks, is balance and harmony. And that balance and harmony is between the male and the female polarities that hold everything in existence. And our indwelling soul is that aspect of the God-Force consciousness that focuses and brings everything into form in balance. And that's what I'd like to talk about tomorrow night. So as many as you can, be prepared to comment on that as I talk about it in the first hour Sunday
but there's
night.
Something else besides the balance of male and female. We all, everyone in this group, grasps in some degree or other that the reality we see around us is what's inside of us. We project whatever's inside of us, we project it outside of us. Mm-hmm. And if we want to live in dominion, then we have to create dominion within us. And by that I mean that we have to end once and for all this constant battle between high soul, low soul. All 3 elements, high, low, and middle, they have to come together and be in dominion with each other. Like the ancient Eastern masters taught that the low self was your enemy. Get rid of it, because what you want to do is go back to God, go back to God, go back to God. But that's over and done with, because the earth is ascending. So the low souls have to ascend with the earth. So now they have to, all 3 have to exist in cooperation with each other, not fighting who controls the body. So until there is dominion within us, you'll never see it outside of us.
Bravo. That to me is what the true Armageddon is. It's within.
Correct. So, and this aligns up with what you've been asking in several sessions. The issue, okay, when I ascend or when I go, I want to take all of me. That makes perfect sense, because I have not read this in a book. I have experienced this myself. Yes, it is 100% possible to open a channel of communication between your high self and your low self, and get the low self properly informed and educated. And the middle self, the ego self, has to take the back seat, because then if you go outside and the low self tells you there's a storm coming, go inside before you get drenched, and then the high self gives you the reason why the storm is coming, the reaction of your ego should be, oh, thank you guys, you really love me and take care of me. And that's the attitude, as opposed to thinking, oh, I know better than anybody, I'm going to be in control. Well, this is the result of thousands of years of ego control. Not very good results.
Very good, Walt. Very good.
They also speak of the brain, how there's the right side of the brain and the left side of the brain, and how that's going to merge into one also.
Yeah.
One brain.
So if you're in dominion with yourself, wherever you go, you'll project it, and people will see it.
Mm-hmm. We're already into tomorrow night's show. Thank you, guys. It's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But the Stellar Show today, we're going to demonstrate how to bring that union of the male and female, and the balance of polarity in that, and the resonance of harmony and balance, and do that with our indwelling souls, with the understanding of how the triad works, the energetic triads, which used to be the Father, Son, Holy Ghost.
The Trinity.
Yeah, the reality is that it's Father, Mother, Holy Ghost, and then the indwelling soul being that aspect of God that manages that reality, that pulls everything together with desire and will for manifestation. So that's what we'll talk about. We're actually going to experience it because David and Rachel and I have been able to do this in the last couple of meetings we've had, and we want to share it with everyone so it can become a living resonance that can resonate out through the airwaves as we talk about it and stimulate other people to get into George Green stuff as well as listening to our own. And it just looks good, guys. And I think that the reason JP hasn't come along yet is because we needed to set that up.
When I downloaded that new Paradigm handbook, I just leafed through several pages, and there was nothing new that I hadn't read before. I mean, Andrew Bartzis has been talking about the same material for some time now.
Mm-hmm. It's nothing new. It's bringing it into self-realization. And that's the importance of internalizing it as you read it, because there will be new stuff as you get further along into it that you have, or that you've forgotten or that hasn't come into your mind. But the overall picture of how we got to be in this world of domination, and the understanding that we can't just fight it. No way can we fight it. Force just creates more force and opposition.
Well, that's why they created domination, is so that there would be that constant fighting, so that your soul didn't have a chance.
Mm-hmm. Okay, guys, this is going to be fun. We're finally getting to the point where we can begin to come into not only self-realization, but self-expression, where we can share and our wave will resonate out.
This is what I've been waiting for.
I know, me too. I feel like this fire, this passion within.
Very we're all ready to grow a little.
Yeah.
But you see that we are all the same. What I have, you have. What you have, I have. But we just don't remember it all at the same time. That's why we need each other, because what I get, I can help point out to someone else, and what I don't get, somebody else can help and point out to me, and it's so delightful, this dance.
Well, we all have a different experience, and yet it's all a part of the whole, and by coming together like this, we get to share the whole.
Oh, and Catherine, you've been so very helpful. Thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. As she pauses and goes,
I got that.
Oh, that is funny. I made a funny, you guys.
If JP does not appear today, let's just continue in the vein of what we're talking about, because really it is, it's wonderful.
We're ready.
Wonderful.
We're ready.
Mm-hmm.
We're
Well, is Gary there? Because we still do it on Universal Mind Radio, don't we?
We're broadcasting on Universal Mind Radio right at this moment.
Ooh, hi, Universal Mind.
Welcome to Universal Mind.
I love that picture, Walt. You're so
thank you.
This question about Universal Mind, is it out in the airways, or do people have to come pick it up off the site?
I think they have to come pick it up.
Yeah, they got to go to the website, click on listen. It's like, like Wolf Spirit Radio. You got to go to the site.
Mm-hmm.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound good.
Yes, we can.
Okay, good.
Well, why don't we work on some volcanoes and earthquakes, you guys?
Yeah.
I'm sitting on top of one of them right here.
We can do that. I took a close look at Hawaii this morning, Rich, and there's a lot of, it seems minor, but a lot of activity going on under the Big Island. I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but if you pull up the big picture, you know, and look at it closely, there's a lot of activity happening under there. And
we have a live volcano. I could feel, last night I felt a small earthquake. I guess I'm becoming more sensitive.
Okay, well, let's just go into our regular Earth mind work then. So as always, we get into that expanded state of consciousness where we become one with Earth mind and the Devic forces of consciousness. And so just take your awareness up into your forehead. Be very comfortable so nothing's stressing your body or calling your attention. Because you are where your point of attention is. That's your indwelling soul point of consciousness. That is the God force consciousness of the individualized God force consciousness that is you. But literally it is part of the whole. So to experience that, step right straight back into the will center, into our soul center. And this is where we make our choices. This is what prompts the choices that we make in our lower levels of thinking and activities as we identify and relate to being human. But this is more than a human aspect of consciousness. This aspect of the indwelling soul can have many incarnations at the same time through soul splits in many other realities, and those all influence each other because it's a common group mind experience of being human on Earth at this time. And so as we open up laterally and do that now, open up laterally to all the human souls on Earth, recognizing that the particular individualizations of group consciousness in our different races and locations and languages make give us a different experience. But should we become curious about those and tune into any aspect of them, then immediately information begins to flow in from those other soul experiences. And so this is why we enjoy observing foreign movies and things, because we get to see as well as feel what's happening in through our souls in other realities. Now take a step further back, deeper, and into the psychic center. This is a center where we can directly communicate with each other through the physical planes of consciousness that operate through the subconscious mind of the chakra system. We're coming here more into the earth plane reality of being one. And this is also a wonderful experience of being able to tune into others and pick up thoughts and feelings and impressions, more of a physical nature rather than a higher soul nature. Now take another step further back, and you're taking your intent back into the expanded consciousness of the subconscious mind, and feel that expansion as you come into attunement with the chakra system. Just take your awareness down the spine now, unifying the chakras, which are individualized aspects of the hard disk of our biocomputer, holding separate frequencies and experiences, knowledge and potentials. Take your awareness down now to the heart. Within the heart is the spirit center. This is that aspect of the God force that is indwelling in you, in us, that holds the forum of all things possible in the standing waves of consciousness through the 0 point. The 0 point being that aspect where everything that's happened in the past that's stored in Earth mind as a case of crackers comes forward and collapses in this moment of now. And without any intent or need to change, it recreates the next standing wave of the future, all in ongoing moments of now. So everything happens now, past, present, and future. And we've learned how to work in the past and to create our future. And that's an important aspect of what we're moving into in dominion. And dominion being that aspect of our unified consciousness, where we're creating a new paradigm, a new earthly human experience through the choice, desire, and will of our indwelling souls, responding to influences from the galactic flow, from the individualized aspects of our solar system and the galactic system of consciousness. And so just to come into attenuation now to the galactic center, from the spirit center, take your awareness back to the back of your head and partly through the crown chakra too. And just open up, it's just like open up backwards into the galaxy, asking for the galactic flow, the ETs who work with us directly. And these, the understanding must be that these are not ETs that can interfere with us in any way in our growth of consciousness, because we are growing and evolving a unique human consciousness and experience here. And so what they're allowed to do is give us self-realization of who we are and how things work. And there's some wonderful information coming through now that we will be talking about tomorrow night in the Sunday evening show, and I'd like to invite everyone to participate in that who just listen to these shows or will later, or listen to that show later, because it will set up the understanding not only of who we are, but why we're here and what our future holds for us. All right. With that awareness, feel your hands begin to tingle. That's your body signal that the energy, the galactic energy, which is all around us, is flowing through us and in us, helping to carry us forward and give us a sense of consciousness and self-realization. Self-awareness and remembering is what it's all about. And we remember through listening to our intuitive flows and sources. Now extend your awareness on down the spine to the root chakra. And feel that extended high self, low self, human operating system of our biocomputer that exists in this mid-plane of consciousness that we react to and relate to as being human. Now to understand and experience how that works, take your awareness into the high self. This is another chakra system that exists above our crown chakra in the midplane. This holds the higher levels of consciousness and of the thinkers who literally create the universe and hold everything in form. And those many levels of consciousness can be accessed and worked with as the male polarity. Now just hold on to that and drop your awareness back down into the midplane and down into the third octave. And this third octave is the feminine principle. Here's another 12 chakra levels. And feel that extended awareness of all three levels and realization that the oversoul and the undersoul principles, male and female, are what distort energy unorganized into energy organized. And it's all done with thought. That's how we become co-creators with the God-First consciousness indwelling in the heart, is our will, our indwelling soul that observes with will and desire and need can reach into the heart center and bring manifestation into form. And that's what holds everything in form, including the physical properties of Earth and our solar system and our universe. And that all resonates from the chakra system of the galactic system itself. The galactic system has a 12-chakra system that everything operates through, and it also has an oversoul and an undersoul. We are simply living resonances of that has been created for millions of years and brought into form, that our miraculous DNA can remember and activate as being humans. We could just easily have activated it to be birds or trees or any other living thing on this planet, but we chose to come in and experience our DNA as being human. Now, with this unified consciousness, this expanded state of awareness, we can also resonate and communicate with the earth energies, with the Devic forces of consciousness that hold the physical form of all reality in nature. And nature works and responds through the pattern experiences of standing waves of the past that generate every moment of every hour of every day the instinctive consciousness that all of our plants and animals and lower levels of intelligence operate and live through and by. And we can communicate with those Devic forces. Diana was discussing just before the show of her personal communication through the Devic forces that brings her so much joy. And we can all do that by simply acknowledging and understanding the presence of Diva, the Devic communication system, and learning how to communicate with animals and plants and trees and all living things. And this is what brings into mind the responsibility of humans. Just as it says in the first book pages of the Bible, this is a long-term ancestral bit of knowledge that man shall exist in dominion of the earth and all the things that fly and crawl and grow in the fields. That means that we are responsible because of our intelligence to nurture and care for all things of life, to carry it forward. Because as we give, so shall we receive. And this important information brings us into the realization that dominion is our responsibility, and as we give, so shall we receive, and that we are creating a new paradigm of understanding this in our growth of consciousness, and are being able to relate to raise the frequencies of all consciousness into the fourth dimension, which is one of time and space, where we learn how to use our DNA and all of our inherent God-given skills and abilities that are waiting for us as we come back into memory, soul memory, spiritual memory, soul memory, particularly where we've done this all before in other planes of consciousness and other star systems. So with that all said, feel within yourself now, beautiful point of self-realization, that we are here for a purpose. We do have much to learn, much to do, and much responsibility. And the big responsibility is the shift of the consciousness of Earth mind and all living humans from domination patterns that have existed for 26,000 years back into dominion patterns. And we do that simply by allowance. Each of us shifting our own consciousness and telling others about it and letting them feel the resonance of the shift and the frequencies that we've grown into. And this is what allows us to move in the higher frequency ranges and gain more gifts and abilities. Domination holds us in a lateral state of consciousness without evolution. And dominion opens the vertical channels and frequencies of consciousness that allows us to rise up into higher states and levels of consciousness. And this is what we will contribute to the evolving consciousness of the world. Now internalize that and know that this is part of the ETs, what the galactic flow has brought through to us in the teachings or the writings of George Green. And you can look there to find confirmation of what you already know in 3 little handbooks that the ETs channel through to him. One is the handbook for the new paradigm. The second is Embracing the Rainbow. And the third is Becoming. And you can find these online. And they're free. Just download them off of the George Green's website or listen to them. And allow your own shift to occur. Your own rise into the 4th dimension of higher consciousness. And the possibility, the potential of utilizing all your gifts and abilities, your psychic gifts and your spiritual gifts, your healing gifts, because they are natural, they are part of our whole. Now, to help us in this, we will go directly to Earth Mind and work with the Devic consciousness that hold all things in form on Earth, in the female plane of Mother Earth consciousness. So we take our awareness to Southern California now, in the earthquake grid. And you do that just by dropping your awareness down through your root chakra down into Earth Mind and think of Southern California. Now your whole body attunes to whatever you have your point of attention on. We're focused on the earthquakes, which are almost continual, and we feel the energy building up that generates these earthquakes. Now we lift that energy upward, upper spines, out through our crown chakra, up through oversoul, out into the ionosphere, surrounding the earth, distribute that energy, transmuting it into a beneficial energy that protects the earth in what we call the golden grid, the shield around the earth, a shield of intent and consciousness that actually manifests forms. We've had scientists who watch the solar flares and things comment that they've seen in the last 2 years that we've been doing this, solar flares that should have affected the electromagnetics on Earth. They simply distribute around the Earth and are carried away out through the solar winds. And it's accompanied with a lot of beautiful northern lights and things like that, so what we create in our mind becomes a reality in some dimension. This is the power of thought. This is the power of directed, unified force of intent. And so our intent is to continue to clear the Southern California of the buildup of destructive earthquakes, lift that energy upward, move up now to San Diego, moving up along the San Andreas fault line, northward to Los Angeles, northward to San Francisco, northward to California-Oregon line. Now what we're clearing is the potential of destructive earthquakes. So the minor earthquakes are necessary, that's just earth adjustments, but they're lubricated. Our Desire and Will lubricates them so they don't become severe shocks. I take your awareness to the Sierra Nevada mountains, back down to southern Nevada again. Lift all the energy of that subduction zone upward. It has been observed that when our point of attention gets distracted into other things or earth plane consciousness, and we don't do this activity, this ritual of clearing, major earthquakes let loose. So what we're doing is a preemptive release of these energies. I go to the Rocky Mountains from southern Nevada, northward through Utah, up to the Yellowstone. We go to the cauldron and feel in our own systems that intense buildup of energy that's waiting just under the crust of the earth to be released in the hot spot. I lift that energy upward. This is the same energy that creates the geysers and hot springs and things. Lift that upward. Disperse it around our golden grid. We're storing this energy for later use. I move northward along the Rocky Mountains all the way to the Canadian line. Now westward to the Pacific Northwest, to the fault line that goes up through the Willamette Valley and up through the Puget Sound area. This is the subduction zone again that's creating the Cascade Mountains. So release that subduction energy in a harmonious flow. Now take your awareness northward to Alaska and the subduction zone of the Pacific Plate, the North Pacific Plate that's lifting up through central Alaska, creating the mountains of Alaska. Lift that energy upward. This is a tremendous concentration of energy. Lift it upward, strengthening our shield. And move your awareness down the Aleutian chain, which is another subduction zone, creating the islands of the Aleutian chain. This is ongoing continuously. So what we release is the excess energy all the way to Russia, then southward along the Kuril Kamchatka Trench to Japan, where it becomes the Japan Trench. And that subduction zone that's lifting created the volcanics that's created the Japanese islands. There's quite a scattering of energy there today. So we lift that upward to prevent any further destructive earthquakes or tidal waves. And we wrap that energy around the nuclear reactors that are releasing radioactivity, and you create a spiraling whirlwind tornado, taking that energy up into the golden grid where it's transmuted into beneficial energy. And we extend that tornado out into the Pacific Ocean, lifting any radioactivity that may be injuring wildlife or anything of nature, all the way through the Pacific Basin. We bring that into the golden grid where it's transmuted into beneficial energy that resonates as life force, gathering life force from the sun, transmuting the sun's energy potential into healing force, life force, into the Pacific Basin to heal and revitalize any creatures, any life form that's being affected by radioactivity. Now take your awareness southward to the Philippines. Some mild volcanic activity there today. Lift those energies upward. Then down into the Indonesian island bordering the Java Trench subduction zone. Lift those energies upward. And follow that fault line all the way out into the Pacific to New Guinea, the Solomon Islands, Java, Tonga Trench, down to New Zealand. And eastward across the southern Pacific to the South American continent and to the ongoing activity of the subduction zone, the full length of South America on the Peru-Chile Trench to the end of the Andes, the full length, and lift it. Earth energies, earthquake energies up through the ancient volcanoes and the ancient fault lines. Now take the awareness to northward to Central America, very low level of activity, which simply tells us there are stresses building up. So we clear those stresses throughout Central America. Eastward to the Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, and eastward to the Mediterranean, very mild activity, but what's there is mid-range. In Turkey, there's a 5.2. South of Athens, Greece, 5.6. On over to Iraq, the border with Iran, we have a 4.8. Then we move eastward to Western China, that subduction zone where there's ongoing activity. There's nothing showing now, but it's building up, so we lift those energies upward to prevent any damaging earthquakes in China. Then we move eastward out into the Hawaiian chain, and ongoing steady movement in the Big Island. We lift those energies upward, realizing that this is like the navel of the earth, and the release of energies here are stabilizing, harmonizing energies. And so we welcome those energies into our golden grid. Now we move back to our point of beginning and out into the central United States and Oklahoma, where the fracking activity is causing low to mid-range activity and earth adjustments. And we bring a flow of energy down from the golden grid to bring back into harmony the earth energies, to clear and cure the pollutants that are injected into the ground that may be detrimental to life energy of any kind. Move on across to the New Madrid fault, where there's minor activity. We clear this fault line. This has the potential for tremendous destruction. So the full length of the Madrid fault, lift that energy upward. Its result in a Midwestern area of subduction zone of the Appalachian Mountains that are being upthrust and forced westward. Now bring our awareness back to the point of beginning. Raise our awareness now up into the human level of consciousness. Reach out through the global financial system of the world, which is presently undergoing a tremendous shift. Bringing about the new world reality that we've asked for and created with our group consciousness in the last 3 years. The new world reality where the financial structure functions in dominion for the benefit of people during this transition time, which may take years of adjustment, but see abundance being distributed to the people rather than hoarded by the dominators. we take our awareness to Iraq and the new the new Mid-Eastern consciousness of dominion that's beginning to express there. And we again put our intent into the group mind consciousness of all the countries in the Mid-Eastern region, releasing the dynamics of old domination forces, bringing the fourth law of the universe, harmony and balance, into that region. And through the law of attraction, creating dominion. Through the second law of stimulating through intent, shifting the consciousness of all the people there. The consciousness of peace and harmony. To the third law of manifestation, which is allowance, which allows each and everyone to experience their own countries, their own beliefs in their own ways, and yet bringing about harmony and balance, the fourth universal law of expression. And we see their balance, their harmony spreading out through all the regions of the European continent. And so it is. We reach out to the religious organizations which have all operated in domination, even though they put out the appearance that they were operating in dominion. And we urge their consciousness to shift into true dominion of nurturing, caring, sharing the aspects of dominion to all their members, primarily the law of allowance, where there's no prejudice, no domination of other religious organizations, and through the entire religious concept of worshiping a God outside of themselves, we bring them into self-realization that the God is within, that everything in us and about us is the expression of the living consciousness of the Creator, and that we alone are responsible for the manifestation of our reality and all the things we experience. We being that aspect of God that experiences all things possible, that allows us to experience wrong choice as well as right choice. But evolution is dependent on right choice. And that is one of the fundamental laws, that evolution must occur. And so it is. Now bring your awareness back into yourselves and look at whatever there is around you that you would like to change or experience or manifest. And by creating that within yourself, the law of resonance attracts that to you. with your intent, desire, and will acting on energy. You bring it into manifestation in a manner that allows everything and everyone else to manifest in their own way, but realizing it's all part of a whole, all part of a plan that's held in form and guided by the dreamers, that aspect of higher evolved consciousness that simply allows but guides. We internalize that guidance, self-realization, and as we move forward, we obey the fundamental law of do no harm to others. And we spread those resonances around the world, those intents, through the group mind consciousness, reminding other souls of who they really are and what they're here to do, lifting the veil of limitation that we've been existing in for thousands of years. As we return to self-realization and self-expression. And so it is. Bring your awareness back up the spine now, into your own conscious awareness. Come out into the world, experiencing, expressing, feeling joy in your heart, the joy of self-realization of who you are and what you came in to express and experience. And so it is. Step forward out into your frontal lobes and open your eyes and come back into the world. And we look forward to seeing you all tomorrow night when we get deeper into what we've mentioned today and how it all works and how we can make a difference with our individual unification of consciousness. In the group mind, we can and are making a difference. We have a few minutes. Does anyone have any comments?
Boy, I don't feel I need a vacation after this morning. I just took one.
Your joy affects all of us, Joan. Thank you. Anyone else?
It was a delightful I am moment, and I thank you very much, Frank, for directing us. It was delightful.
That's my joy. We'll go to the Stellar group now and have more discussion, which we will share tomorrow night with the extended consciousness of World Spirit Radio. And if there's nothing else, we'll sign off for now. And Gary, you will have it available in worldmindradio.com, and you will send this tape to World Spirit Radio so others can pick it up there and listen to us. Thank you all. Have a good day.
Thank you, Frank. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Love and peace
Wonderful,
and joy, everyone.